Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Lore Sports proudly brings to you the best racing podcast in the world. Now, here's your host, Lauren Leach, the color guy, Mark Allen, the Loose Lugs Racing Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Loose Lugs Racing Podcast, sponsored by the Corp Racing and Valley Gasket. Thanks, Tim, Ben, and Carrie, for all that you do for us as always. We appreciate it so much. Episode 167. Mark, we have a guest with us here, the 2023 Dominator out at Wisconsin International Raceway, Sawyer Effertz. Sawyer, we just talked about 2023, man. What a year that was for you.
Yeah, a lot easier to reminisce on 2023 than 2024. It's a bad luck streak there, hoping to come to an end.
That sort of happened right off the bat, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
The TUNDRA race. What was the cause of that mishap that put you in the wall like that?
I don't know. Well, the left front caliper got wedged into the rotor, and we don't know if the bolt fell out or broke, or I hate to do the finger pointing game or whatever the deal was there, but at the end of the day, the locked the left front up, felt like it put the chassis on the ground, or I couldn't turn anymore. And at that point, I just tried to slow it down as much as I could, and it sure didn't feel like I slowed it down very much.
Hardest hit you ever had?
It's up there for sure. I know. I was racing a Bandolero in Nashville one time, and I hit my knee really hard on the steering column. That hurt way more than you would think it would, but I kind of limped around for a little while after that. So I remember that one sticks out, but that one was pretty good. I went to the hospital actually and got an MRI of my ribs after that, and had some bruised ribs, and was a little sore for a while, but
you're tough.
Yeah, nothing. Didn't miss a day of work, so we're all right.
Well, I do want to talk about you being the 2023. Not only were you the champion at Wisconsin International Raceway with Fox River Racing Club, you were the red, white, and blue state champion, but you also won the Bear 66, the 10th annual Tundra race at WIR. You were the first weekly competitor to win that race. Tundra race coming up here in a few days. Reminisce kind of about 2023's race and how that went for you.
Yeah, that was we were on a long streak of, I would say we were running, consistently dash speed, but we could not get a win. We had a lot of second place finishes on Thursday night, and it was kind of nice, like showing up to the track, and, you always think you have a chance when you go somewhere, but we're not like, oh yeah, we're going to dominate today. And we unloaded, and it was really good in practice, and we qualified good. And we're like, man, this thing feels really good. And came to the race, and you're never expecting, I guess, or at least at that point, I wasn't expecting to be able to drive through the field. And then even if you get to the front, you still don't believe it. You're like, all right, well, maybe I got a good short run speed car here, and somebody's going to run me down at the end of this thing. And they just never came. So that was awesome.
Took home that great Bear trophy.
Yeah.
Where do you got that these days?
I do have we had my dad and mom kind of renovated you call it the office or the lunchroom into a trophy room because of 2023. We got a lot of really cool trophies from the red, white, and blue, and Thursday night stuff, and championship trophy that gets traveled around from the Fox River Racing Club. But the Bear one definitely sticks out in there. That's a really awesome trophy. I'm hoping I can give it a brother on Saturday.
The Tundra Series race coming up again this year. The competition looks very stiff this year. We were just talking off screen. You were quick to mention that the field looks pretty tough there. What do you think about your competition coming up on Saturday?
Yeah, it looks like what you'd expect to see for a good payout race. Hats off to Matt for taking the risk on up in the purse a ton there. That's a really great payout, and I think you're gonna see what paying out that kind of purse gets you for cars. Last I checked, they sounded like 29. With a few guys that chimed in that said they were coming on the last 100 posts that I saw. So should be really stout.
You got a beautiful new baby back here. Tell us about
Yeah.
it, man. It looks really sharp.
Yep, brand new Pathfinder, and I could be wrong. So Joe Wood, you can chime in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the last car out of the shop there before they moved and started doing all the fab at the other shop. So I feel like that's a pretty special thing. Those guys have always taken care of me, turned cars around fast if I had something that was wrecked or needed to get fixed. So really looking forward to that. We spent a lot of time on the details. Like I was showing you guys some stuff before we got on here, and we're really excited.
I want to talk a little bit about 2024 and then quickly move on. You kind of mentioned, coming into this is our annual thing. We meet the Wednesday before the Tundra race.
Yep.
We've done that the last 2 years. The year before you won it was our first time, and we've made a annual party of that, I guess you could say. But going into 2024, we came back out here, recap 2023 like we just did, and I could tell in your voice, and you even mentioned bits and pieces of how you were, I guess the word I'll use is concerned that eventually the good luck stops and something's going to happen, and how do you rebound from it?
Yeah.
You met a lot of trials and tribulations this past year. What did you learn from that, maybe about yourself and your team, and how you rebounded from a tough year like 2024?
Well, you gotta fight, man. You learn a lot of stuff. I feel like every year, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. So like that off season going into 23, I learned a lot. I got a lot more involved with the racing, even before that, but it kind of took a few years to come to fruition with the stuff that I learned. And 23 was so good that during 24, even when it was bad, every week we came here, we're like, all right, man, this is a week it's going to turn around right here. And we had some decent speed kind of at the end. We could not get the monkey off her back though, just the luck. And Joey Logano would be mad at me for talking about luck. He doesn't believe in luck, but I just watched that on Netflix there. But that's sure what it felt like to me. So, because we never stopped putting in the work last year. We always thought we could show up and win on Thursday night. So, going into this year, you just kind of do what we've been doing. We were never underprepared. We just seemed like we couldn't get it to stay together. It was one thing after the next, and hopefully that's going on down the road now, and back to the good luck.
But you make your own luck, don't you?
I think so. I feel like, I don't know, it wasn't working last year, Mark. We never stopped working hard on it. We're always down here. The commitment's there from the team. Even, I get really mad about stuff a lot. I spend a lot of time on this, and so does everybody else that works on the car. And I get a little grouchy sometimes, and I gotta kind of walk away and gather it back up. I'm sure plenty of guys that are really into this, like we are, know exactly what I'm talking about, where you just gotta kind of take a step back and regroup. So we were kind of happy to see the off season at the end of last year, but boy, am I glad it's warm out and it's almost race season now.
Absolutely, as are we, man. All right, last thing about 2024. Can you tell us the majority of the issues that you kind of faced in 2024 and how you overcame them and kept going to the track every week?
Yeah, I just feel like the car was so good in 23 that we couldn't figure out why when we were doing the same stuff. I have all the stuff set up here. I'm on scale plates. I got pucks glued to the floor in the same spot. You're spending all this time. You're like, everything is level and straight and plumb and whatever way you want to color it. And we could not figure out why it just wouldn't work. And you want to blame something. So I'm always like, well, them tires we had last year, didn't work for us, whatever it may be, but everybody was on the same tires and we were getting beat. So I'm just trying to kind of move past that and I think we're going to be in a good place this year if car's feeling pretty good. So
looking ahead to 2025, I know we talked about going into the Tundra race here. What have you done over the off season? You got that new car, a new paint scheme. It's looking great as always. What have you kind of worked on over the off season here going into 2025?
Yeah, just we got a new body on it and everything. Obviously, new car, so everything is new and tight and right where we want it. Kind of take all the stuff that we've learned and instead of adapting things that we learned to a car that was already put together and trying to tweak, and we got to take all that and say, all right, clean slate, let's put it all into one, what we got here. And so far it seems to be okay, or better than okay, from testing last night, but I'm not count your chickens before they hatch.
How'd that test go for you, man?
It was good. It was a lot better than last week, Mark. Went really good. Ran about 40 or 50 laps last night. These tires, the ST1, ST2 combo with the stars on them, seem really grippy. I wouldn't be surprised if track records get tore up this year, especially now that they are giving us our duct tape back for the grills.
You just mentioned the test went well the other day, but you mentioned it went better than last week.
Yeah.
We just talked about all the trials and tribulations you faced in 2024. You faced one a week ago as well already.
Yeah. So one more sharp stick in the eye, I think, to get that last one out. Had a motor let go on us. Had a kind of a fluke thing. I talked to Matt Panier the other night too and kind of mentioned the same thing. It's not characteristic of stuff that Dan and Paul build at AEC and never have problems with their stuff. Always makes great power. And when the car is good, it's usually in victory lane with the AEC sticker on it. So it's kind of a bad deal there. Wasn't really anybody's fault, I don't think, as far as on our end. I mean, seemed like we had everything plumbed right and just was kind of getting starved of oil or something. So we kind of changed a couple of things with the oil tank, and we're trying some other stuff to keep more oil on board. And hopefully we don't have any issues going forward.
Tundra race coming up. We've mentioned that a few times. Then the weekly program starts right away the next week there. So the grind starts already. It has already this offseason for you, but the grind starts quickly here with racing weekly and all that. Talk about what you're thinking for the upcoming season, what we'll see out of the racers and the racetrack maybe in 2025.
Yeah, so I know, and I don't think anybody wants to bring it up, but we were talking about car count a little bit earlier, and I'm a little worried about car count with the cost of things and the way some of the stuff with not tech officials, but just kind of there was a little bit of a tussle at the end of the year last year with some tech inspection, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't want to really get into that, because it wasn't my car, so indifferent to it. But I know that's kind of affecting a car count a little bit. But I really do love these tires. I think if guys get out and get on them, all the cars are going to be super fast this year. Like I said, I think track records are going to get busted up. I think you got a real good chance Saturday too with the way the weather is going to be on Saturday. It looks like 58, 60, and maybe not real sunny. So I'm looking forward to that. The tour field too, a couple of weeks ago looked really strong. This Saturday, Tundra field looks really good too. So I'm looking forward to it. Good group of cars, and should be fun.
I know car count is the topic of discussion every year, but even if the car count dips a little, I feel, and maybe I'm biased, maybe we all are, I'm not sure, but the Fox River Racing Club and Wisconsin International Raceway, even if it dips a little, is going to have the most competitive group of cars out there, I think, or at least one of. So do you think even if the car count dips a little bit, we'll continue to see the parity that we've seen, or maybe even more this year?
I mean, and you guys might know better than me, but I don't know of a place that runs super late models 16 weeks in a row anywhere, maybe on Earth. So I think that's a pretty special thing we got going on here. I think that helps them a lot being right in town. That's pretty cool. So should be good. Looking forward to it.
Hey, you got a whole line of sponsors, man. There's all kinds of sponsors on there.
Yeah.
Where do you get all them sponsors, and how do you go about
Yeah.
asking people for sponsorship? And
my dad gets a good amount of sponsors. I'm talking to people, and he makes information packets up and sends them out to people and calls and follows up on it. My approach is a little more buddy. I run into guys on job sites with plumbing businesses or contracting businesses, stuff like that. I'm like, hey, what's a really good tax write-off is sponsoring a race car. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but that's kind of how I do it. People I know, friends of mine, it all works out really good. My dad gets most of them though, and I try to pat it on the back end a little bit.
I always love when either Mark or I ask that because I'm trying to learn that as well. So maybe I'll have to go with the tax write-off. For this deal too. But
you got to tell people they're making money by giving you money.
yeah,
Usually works.
Right. We have a couple of good ones with Tim with the Corp Racing and Ben and Carrier's Valley Gasket. But
yes.
But yeah. So what else is going to be involved with your schedule for 2025? Is it going to be the Tundra opener and then strictly WIR for the rest of the season with the Fox River Racing Club? Are you looking to venture out a little bit? What happens if you have a great run for the Tundra race coming up here? Do you consider running that season? What does 2025 look like for your schedule?
Yeah, I think with kind of the bad luck we had last week with the motor situation, we no longer have one on the shelf. So that's kind of going to put a hindrance on anything that we maybe had plans of traveling around. I know I've said in the past that I thought maybe we'd be able to go here or there. So I know with 100% certainty, unless something absolutely insane happens, that we will be at WIR every Thursday night racing for a Fox River Racing Club championship in the super late model. And I will be running Pete Birkin's quarter mile late model on Friday night. And then for the spring classic, and then obviously Saturday for the Tundra race like we talked about. And I may have an opportunity to drive a Midwest truck series truck later in the year potentially, but that's not a done deal yet, so I won't give any details on that, but we'll see.
It's out there though. There are options.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be hopping in a few different vehicles, it sounds like, which the seat time is always a good thing.
Yeah, well, I just love racing in general. I think all of us do. So I think anybody that has as many opportunities as they can, they'll take the car. I think budget's the only thing that keeps people from racing 7 days a week. So
you like whipping around that quarter mile though, huh?
I do. I don't get me wrong. I love running supers. I don't know. I do like the bigger tracks, though, to be honest. I know when we went to State Park, I had a quarter mile late model car there that didn't have power steering, and I had a few choice words about that for sure. I don't know how some of those guys did that before power steering was a real prevalent thing. Everybody just ran without power steering, man. And we ran, I don't know, 25, 30 laps to State Park, and I was sweating in there. So say what you will about that, but I sure do like the power steering, and I do like the big tracks. A little more technical stuff down the straightaway. You got to plan runs out, a little less bumper. So some guys think it's easier to run on the bigger tracks. I think you got to be more on top of your stuff with the speed to carry runs on the straightaway. But that's just my opinion.
I'm glad you brought it up. Friday night, the spring part of the spring classic with the Tundra super late models on Saturday. Dan and Ginger Van Dalwick bringing back that spring classic. that was such a big deal back in the day.
Yeah.
To me, it was, I compare it to what the icebreaker down at the Dells is now, except
Yep.
it was 2 days.
Right.
The Spring Classic at WR has so much history. I am so glad that they're bringing it back. I'm going to be glad to be a part of it on Friday. What do you think Friday will look like? And what have you heard maybe from fans or on social media looking forward to both Friday and Saturday and WIR bringing back the Spring Classic?
Yeah, I think it's great. I'm really happy that we have good weather for it. I know sometimes the icebreaker is a little chilly. I wasn't there this year, but I remember going maybe 2 years ago, and it was pretty chilly early in the day, and then it got a little decent in the afternoon. So I'm glad they have good weather for it. I'm always excited about track owners or promoters trying new stuff, not just doing the same thing over and over again. That shows to me that they care. They're trying to do something new to bring people in or show them something different, even if we have the same fans that are always there supporting short track racing. At least it's something cool for them to talk about or something different for them to see, a different format. I know when we have our off-season meetings for the Fox River Racing Club in the winter, the quarter mile guys are always begging for a chance to have a quarter mile night, and they are getting their chance to do that on Friday night. So I really hope for that sake that they get a sweet turnout and they can show everybody that they know what they're talking about down there too, because I love street stocks and the quarter mile late model stuff. I think that's cool. That's like old school, like kind of steel doors and that kind of stuff. I know when I ran it, I was like 14, 15. I wasn't nearly involved in the racing stuff. I was more of a suitcase driver, I guess, if you will. Dad always worked on it, and Pete and Don and Doug, and they always had it, and I just kind of showed up and raced it. So I don't have a lot of remembering that kind of stuff. So it's kind of nice for me with the quarter mile late models. They're a lot more like these, man. So I kind of at least have some sort of ability to talk about adjustments. But yeah, I think it's great. New stuff is always cool. Innovation, I'm all for it.
And you and the other divisions that are racing have a chance to win some bling there. Did you see those necklaces that they created? That's kind of the new in thing. So
yep.
I was pretty pumped to see that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, all new stuff like that. I'm definitely going to give it my best shot. It looks like they have a really stout field of quarter mile late model, so that'll be fun. I get to check that out, and it's going to be interesting for sure.
96 laps on the half mile, long race.
Yeah.
Do you feel it when you're done, or especially coming out of the box of the season? To start a 96 lap race.
I'll feel this one. If it was if it was like the blue race and it was 96 laps, I'd be in pretty mid-season form there. I do work out, believe it or not.
12-ounce curls.
Yeah, 12-ounce curls.
I do too.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm in decent shape. So I think it'll be okay as long as my helmet fan keeps working. I can get a couple of sips of water in there. We should be all right. I ran like 50 last night, and I only got out of the car once. So I think I'll be okay. It's obviously I know we have a break. There's a fuel break that I need some clarification on yet. At the 50 lap mark, I believe.
Matt, we had Matt on last week. He said 50 unless the caution would come out at like lap 45 or something where it's close enough, then they would probably include that. Otherwise it'll be lap 50.
Yeah,
unless he's changed things. But
yeah, so we'll be able to catch our breath there. Those of us that haven't raced since the end of August last year, get a drink of water.
It's like riding a bike, though.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't know. Maybe when I was 24, not quite now. I'm getting a little older now. Not old by any means, but definitely feeling it now. So, yeah, I think I'll be all right. It's especially when the adrenaline's up too. You don't quite notice it as much either. That was kind of like the deal with my ribs. When I got out of the car, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fine. And we came down here actually that night. Nick Van picked the car up with a rollback, Fox City Towing rollback, and brought it down here for me, and we got it in the shop, and I went underneath the think I was unhooking the third link or something, and I had 2 wrenches up there, and I went to go like this, and it was like, and I'm like, oh geez, and then I was laying on the floor for 5 minutes, and Dad's like, yeah, you're going to get looked at. I'm like, all right, fine. So, you don't notice it as much when you're in it, but I'm sure I'll be sore after a little bit.
96 laps is one of the longest races we'll see at Wisconsin International Raceway all season, with stiff competition coming in with those travelers and then the weekly competitors that are also racing there. How do you attack 96 laps and knowing that you're usually one of the better ones set up for the long run, so that might even suit you a little better?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I like the longer race. I've said previously too that I feel like it gives everybody the opportunity to be slightly more patient, working their way to the front. If you have, I don't know how the invert's going to end up, but if you end up inverting, 12 cars or whatever, you don't have a slugfest trying to get to the front. That's the only thing that gets a little hectic on Thursday nights, with the 35 laps. It's like, oh, got to go right now. So, and I think the break kind of changes the strategy a little bit because, do you ride and save? Do you try to get to the front so you don't have to pass any cars on the back end of the break? I don't know, what everybody else is thinking, but we've been talking about that the last couple of days. Not really sure what we're going to do yet. And if we were, I wouldn't tell you anyways, but, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the strategies play out.
Yeah, now that you mentioned it, something that I didn't really think about is, do you go for the track position? You mentioned it earlier in the podcast. Tires have been a big talk of it. Do they hold on for 96 laps? Are you better off getting to the front or not? How do you figure something like that out, or is it just when you get in the race you figure it out eventually?
Well, the only, if you call it a disadvantage I may have to some of the guys that ran Madison or have the Dells, I think, what would you say, was 125 laps or so at Dells, or was that 100?
Was Dells 100? Dells was 100. I think they might do. All of them are 100 this year.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, the guys that ran those races are going to have a better idea as far as fall off goes. I didn't really see more than a couple tenths over the course of our 40 or 50 lap run yesterday, but I'm not going to go test 100 lap run, obviously, to see how it's going to go. So there's obviously going to be fall off. The tires are going to wear. But from what I saw, they seem pretty sweet. So I think you're going to have a lot of grip early. A lot of guys feeling like Superman early, maybe that haven't tested yet, or, I don't know. People are coming out first time Saturday morning and doing 2 15-minute runs on these tires if they haven't been on them yet, if they were just mocking stuff on last year's tires, which they're going to be mind blown when they change over to the Stars. So see how it goes, but these tires are sweet.
Not only that, of being behind the wheel, but you're going to be helping out all over your spotting. You're helping out still with Wilson Motorsports, correct?
Yep. Yeah, I was at Dominion in April with those guys, planning on being at the Wisconsin doubleheader, and then I'm going to try to do the Stars Tour through the rest of the year. So I get to learn some stuff there, and then plan on being on the Spotter Hill for Nick Van in the Truck Series when I can make it. I know I have a couple schedule conflicts and stuff, but he's always been a big help for me with my racing stuff, so I'm trying to help him out too, and I'm looking forward to that.
Last time we talked to, or maybe it was 2 years ago, you were new into having your own business. So you're quite busy. You also, congratulations on this. You were just promoted at the fire department.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that. I know you've been working hard at that in your business. What's life look like as a business owner and now being promoted at the fire department?
Yeah, it's the fire department stuff is special to me. I really like doing that. My family kind of has a lineage of public service. My parents were police officers, and my grandpa was in the military, and I have a lot of extended family as military or National Guard or any form of public service stuff like that. So I don't know if it's in the blood or what, but I really love doing that. Wanted to get that promotion to try to better the place and help guys be a part of the community. So that's really fun for me. That doesn't feel like work at all. I enjoy doing that. The business side of it with Emerald Electric is going good. Slowly trying to get more and more work, trying to figure out that sweet spot. Everybody has their kind of own way of doing stuff. You try to figure out if you want to start getting a bunch of employees and go that route, or if you want to kind of stay smaller and not have quite as much on your plate as far as managing stuff goes. I actually just hired an employee that started on Monday, so he's been with me these first couple of days this week. So that's another new thing for me. So just never stops, man. You got to keep moving, or if you don't use it, you lose it, right?
Hey, man, what else are you looking forward to in 2025 here?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say right off the top of my head is racing Saturday, of course. I do love to golf too. I've mentioned that in the past. And it's starting to get nice out now, so get out on the golf course a little bit.
We're talking about
Mark and I were just talking about that.
A little golf. I really love spending time up north with my wife and our son Charlie. Got a nice spot up there on the lake, so we go up there quite a bit on the weekends, all the holidays and stuff. It's good stuff, man. Just spending time with family and get to be around family a lot with the racing. My mom and dad are always with me here, doing one thing or another constantly. So it's feels great. I'm in a great spot, and I'm always just looking forward to everything, really. Just get up in the morning and be happy, man. It's the only way to live.
Amen, brother. You bet.
Yep. Well, hey, man, we always look forward to coming out here to the shop every year, the Wednesday before the Tundra opener, before the Spring Classic, I guess I should say, for this year. Looking forward to it coming up this weekend. We appreciate you. Appreciate you being a test to us doing this video outside of our homes.
Yeah.
So we appreciate the heck out of you, man. Hope you return to 2023 form and get that bad luck out of you there, and can't wait to see what you do this weekend, Friday and Saturday, and then going forward in the weekly stuff here coming up at WIR.
Yeah, me too, man. It's going to be awesome. And just want to say thanks quick to all the crew guys that worked all winter on this thing. You guys know who you are. You're here nonstop, working on this thing, getting it perfect. And mom and dad and my wife, Chrissy, she's a saint for how much I'm gone and still putting up with me. So
there's so much sacrifice when it comes to racing.
There is a lot, man. It's a full-time thing. I've been here almost every night for the last 2 weeks till it's dark out. So at least, but we love it.
All right.
Got to keep going.
That's right, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks again, and can't wait to see you here in a few days.
Heck yeah.
Well, Mark, we're back in our normal, kind of normal spaces, I guess we should say. We appreciate Sawyer coming on so much, our annual visit to his shop. And like I said, they're kind of a test to see, can we take this other spots, and what else can we learn from this? So not only was it great catching up with Sawyer, but it also was a good test for us as well.
Pretty soon we'll have our own TV studio, dude. So, hey, it's all stepping stones to getting there, right, buddy?
Small stepping stones, yes.
Yeah.
But no, Sawyer had a great 2023, ran into some challenges, trials, tribulations in 2024, and it's going to be interesting to see how he can bounce back in 2025, although already had kind of a big issue and challenge starting out here with that motor letting go just the other night. So hopefully the bad stuff is out of the way early for him and he can have a successful 2025.
Did you see that rocket of a car he's got, man? Is that sharp or what? And ain't it cool, man? He pumped it up for us and showed us some components. We asked some questions, get some honest answers and everything. And, hey, man, cool going off to the shop like that, man, and getting a little learning experience there.
Yeah, and going out to the shop, it's like going out to the racetrack. You don't get to have those conversations every day, and it's so great to be in person. And we have a lot of great conversations on here, either before or after too. And tonight was another good one. And looking forward to the Tundra race coming up here, what Sawyer can do going forward, and I'm sure we'll have him on again here in the near future.
Wow, heck of a lineup, man. You see the drivers that are coming to town this week, man. Man, I tell you what, it's turned into a do not miss event. So got to get out there on Saturday and support that show.
And Friday too for the Spring Classic.
And Friday too.
That's going to be a great show out at WIR. They got the quarter mile late models, the street stocks, the Wisconsin sport trucks, the 4-cylinders, all running out there on Friday night. Great prices out there. The spectator gates and concessions open at 5 p.m. Practice sections actually start at 4. You can actually view the practice sessions before going out to come back and pay. I know you do that a lot, Mark, during the season. Qualifying is going to be at 5:45. Opening ceremonies at 6:15, and racing begins at 6:30 p.m. That's on Friday. Then coming back to Saturday for the Tundra Super Late Model portion of the Spring Classic. We'll have the Super Late Models and the Pro Late Models out there. Spectator gates and concessions open at noon. Qualifying 12:30. And racing at 2 o'clock. I mean, this is just shaping up to be a great weekend of racing, man.
Yes, sir, man. At our home track, we've only been waiting since August, so so I got to go out there last week. I sat around for about an hour and watched a little practice, and once again, it's one of those you just kind of just daydream off into the distance and think of memories here and there. Been going to that place so many years, man. I practically grew up there, so. Yeah, looking forward to it for another big year out there at WIR.
Yeah, for sure. And in fact, Tundra put out their entry list today. So we got Chase Hunter in the 00, Jesse Outenhoven in the 1, Jordan Thiel in the 2, Sawyer Effertz, who we just had on in the 2 as well. Cody Vanderloop going to hop in a super late model in that 4 car. Casey Johnson and Penn Sauter both in 5 cars. Andy Monday, who we're hoping to have on next week, will be in his normal 10. Bobby Kendall, it'll be good to see Bobby back out here. Mark, I think you saw him at practice just the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, he was practicing, and I tried to get him on video, but I was just a little shaky. It's like preseason, trying to learn the camera, By the time I got zeroed in on him, he went back to the pits, but sharp looking 11 car. He's got some different sponsorship, little coloring on it, and he looked rather fast. We know how Bobby can get around there.
Oh yeah. Then we have the 12 of Derek Van Driel, Cody King in the 14, Gabe Summers coming back to join these Tundra Super Late Models. That's a cool thing to see him back there and back up here at Wisconsin International Raceway. Grant Griesbach, always a contender in the 17. Jevin Goralski looked like he had a pretty good practice day, and he's been fast wherever he goes in that 20 machine. Jeff Storm coming back up here in the 25. Wyatt Brooks in the 25 as well. Maxwell Schultz, who had a fantastic year last year, will be throwing his hat in the ring in the 34 car. Ty Fredrickson, the defending winner of the race, will be in the typical 36 there. Tim Springstro also in a 36. He's had some good runs. It'll be cool to see Jeremy Lepak back in the 40 car. Jerry Miller, Mr. Excitement, I think they call him up here in the 49. Brock Heinrich, he's finished 3rd and 2nd the last 2 years. When we've talked to him, he said he's got a 2nd and 3rd. He wants to finish 1st to continue that trend there. So he'll be one to watch. JJ Vanderloop, who was a very impressive rookie last year in the 72. Randy Schuler is going to be running with Tundra in the 72 as well. He has many years of racing up here. Tristan Swanson, who, I thought he would make the Quickie driver development program. He has that big win at the Dells. It's always great to see him. Very successful driver. He's thrown his hat in the ring. Harley Jankowski in the 95, and Dalton Zier in the 119. So just a phenomenal field there for the Tundra Super Late models.
So pick one, man. There's like a whole bunch of them. Anybody could pull this one off, man. That's a star-studded lineup there, man. Looking forward to it.
27 cars, if I'm not mistaken, that we listed there. So just a great field. They also, I think, listed their Pro Late model field so far, and I think there's going to be a few more joining after this. But Mike Egan will be in the 13 or 89. Brian Henry, who's very successful up here in the 7. Tyler Romatka in the 3, who we see down at Slinger quite a bit. Tim Ballman, the quarter mile late model champion, moving up to the half mile a few times this year. He'll be in his number 6 car. JJ Vanderloop in a number 72 Pro Late. Justin Waller in the number 44, very successful up here. Alex Stumpf in the 66, a champion out here at WIR. Wayne Posselt in the 74, an impressive driver as well. Todd Verhagen in the 52, Tom Behrens in the 99, who we see down at Slinger, who I've told you in the past, I've got my eyes on him to keep improving. Bobby Wattier in the 89, and Brady Baldry in the 74, all four pro late models there for the Albrader 28 memorial race there. So very important memorial race there in honor of Al Golke. So hoping to see more names added to the list, but either way, a great field for both of those series.
No doubt, man. That sounds like a good one. 28 lapper and good talent there, man. Looking forward to that for the undercard there. So, yeah, man, looking forward to this. This is going to be good. And you know what? Sawyer was talking about the tires and how much happy he's with it. And hey, I saw the other day that Jeff Storm was saying that how much Hoosier has improved their tires and how tacky they are. And it sounds like maybe Hoosier went and did some homework, man, and we're going to get a quality tire this year, huh? So, every year we've been hearing such bad things about tires, and it looks like maybe they did their homework, man. We've got maybe something to look forward to there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. You never like to hear tires be the story of the show, or you never like to hear that being talked about. And we know they work hard at it, so hopefully on the right track, and hopefully it helps out the drivers and teams and is more consistent this year.
Yeah, it's been just something goes on and right away everybody points at the tires, and boy, wouldn't that be nice if we can just get past that, man, and just make these tires super and get good racing, and we don't have to point a finger at that anymore.
Yeah, and we've heard a few drivers say maybe that's the easy way out too, is something's wrong, so it must be the tire. That's another theory behind it too. So, I appreciate Hoosier and all that they do. I know you feel the same way. So just hopefully everyone can be on the same page and things can get better.
Yeah, we're never going to blame the loss of talent though, unless if you're on iRacing there, Lauren. So.
Thanks.
Yeah, loss of talent. And we'll move on from there, man.
Right. Well, hey, man, looking forward to the weekend, but I also want to say this once again. We continue to think about and pray for Hank Grishaber. Still fighting that battle, and I'm going to say that every week on here. Hank, just a great person, a great supporter of racing, the sport we love. Doesn't ask for anything in return. Has supported this hobby that we love forever, and so appreciative of him for all that he's done, and just for the great person he is. So I just want to say here that we continue to think about you, Hank, and keep up the good fight, my friend, and we're continued to think of you and pray for you.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's really a hard deal and everything, and people are trying to ask questions and stuff like that. And hey, all we can do is pray, right? We got to pray, and we love you, Hank, man, and hang in there and keep fighting, and and just keep going on, man. We love you, and we want you to have all the best, man. So we're praying for you.
For sure, and if you go out to Hank and Karen's on Facebook, I know they have a post out there of how you can help the family with meals and other ways to contribute. So go out and visit. And if you're able to support in those ways, we encourage you to do so for such a great family.
Absolutely, man. Couldn't say that any better here, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Moving forward, then, just got some news articles or items to talk about here. In IndyCar, Takuma Sato said that his crash during the Indy 500 test a couple of weeks ago ended up being 94 G's, and it actually broke his seat. Wow.
But it didn't break him, though, huh?
Did not break him. And you know, he's a Indy 500 champion, so.
Hey, these guys are still going over 220 miles an hour. I don't care what you say, man. That's yikes. That is high speed, man. You don't want to see something like that happen when something goes wrong there.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, definitely do not want to see anything happen there. Looking forward to the Indy 500, but got a little bit, got a week and a half to go before we get there.
A lot of practice that's been going on, though, you know, and hey, even Kyle Larson's been bounced off the wall too, and you know, even the best. So we'll see. But you know, it's you know how Memorial Day weekend is on that Sunday, man. Best racing day of the whole season.
Yeah, and you know, they got Indy 500 qualifying coming up later in the week. We'll talk about that schedule. The big thing coming down from IndyCar is they're saying that everyone's kind of closer on a level playing field here because of the hybrid, and they've never raced with the hybrid system in the back of the car. Or I should say they never raced with the hybrid system, which is located in the back of the car, and it's throwing drivers off a little bit, or it's taking them some time to get used to. So there's a little bit of a storyline coming out of Indy regarding that.
Okay, well, pay attention to that, man. We'll see how that goes.
The only other news thing that I have, Mark, is Harrison Burton will drive in the All-Star race for Rick Ware Racing in the number 51 car. He is eligible thanks to his Daytona win last August. Cody Ware will drive the number 15 car in the Open then.
Yeah, and also out of there, I see with the 51 that Ryan Newman is going to be having a couple races in that 51 car that's coming down the line. So it's good to see Ryan Newman is still throwing his hat in the ring, right?
Yeah, that's super, super cool.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting to see what Harrison Burton can do back in the Cup Series.
He's got the experience, man. So, yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. That's all the news articles and items that I got. You got anything else that you would like to cover, Mark?
You know, not with NASCAR, you know, just with the local. You know, I went out to Golden Sands for their 58th annual startup. Hey, they had 16 super lates out there. They had 5 different series that was running out there. What a crowd. Beautiful crowd out there, man. And good, successful race. You know, they get her started about 7:45 out there, man. And by 10:15, the show was all in and good, entertaining race. Travis Volm, nobody was going to beat him that night. He had fast time, and you know, and he picked them off one at a time. Johnny Beal might have had something for him, but his crate motor blew up on him, and yeah, and he had a little fire going on there. So that was exciting. And then Saturday, on my way to 141, I stopped at WIR, you know, like I said, and checked out a little practice here and there, and see what was going on. Then I went over to 141. I had air conditioning on my way over there. And when I stepped out of the car, when I got to 141, and all of a sudden, wow, that wind was coming off the lake over there. And man, it got cold over there. But, you know, they still had over 200 cars there. And it's amazing what they do there. They line up the cars, and when they come out on the track, the flagman's standing there, one to go. There's no hot laps, heat laps. You go around one time and you fire. And as soon as the race is on and is over, the cars are going off of turn 3, going into the pits, and the other ones are coming right onto the racetrack, man. And the pit man stands there, one lap to go. And man, it's just like a machine, man. They're just whipping them cars all left and right. And awful dusty there, man. They couldn't put enough water in the track. But it was good to see 141 and super crowd and super cars, and it was a good show out there, but awfully freaking cold.
Yeah, I seen your post about it being frigid out there. That doesn't stop us though. We go out there if we can. So looked like a great weekend of racing. I can't wait to get out to Plover. You know, the Smiley family does such a great job out there, and it was great to see the car count that they had. And it's always enjoyable going out to Plover and Golden Sand Speedway there. I can't wait to get to 141 as well. That's a place that's been on my list for a while. So I will make a point to getting out there this year.
Absolutely, yeah. The Smileys contacted us and said thanks for coming on out there, and they're looking forward to seeing us coming back out there. So we will take that invitation, and we will go back and support that racetrack, whenever we can. How's that?
100%, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about the ARCA race out at Kansas quick here. Brendan Queen won it after starting fifth and led 72 laps. He survived a late race restart. Sawalich, Mitchell, Allen, and Scott were the rest of the top five out there.
Yeah, so Brendan Queen, what is he? He's ran 3 races and he's won 2 of them. So we can see where this is going, man. He's got talent. He's going to make it happen. So, yeah, congratulations to Butterbean.
Yep,
Probably,
Butterbean.
he's probably looking for a Waffle House to go celebrate with some chocolate milk. Remember that?
They asked him about that, and he said, well, there is one around the way here, but he said they're probably going to celebrate back at the Charlotte one there. So get the chocolate milk ready, and I'm sure they celebrated out there.
Hey, Waffle House does have the best chocolate milk. Believe me, because it's cured a few of my hangovers when I was down in Pensacola at the local Waffle House. I lived in an apartment, and Waffle House was just like right down the block, and it was a good hangover buster with that good ice cold chocolate milk. So I know what he's talking about. Good quality stuff there.
Yeah, Waffle House is a good place for sure.
It is.
IndyCar then was racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but on the road course portion, Graham Rahal dominated early, but Alex Palou dominated late and wins again. That's 4 of 5 races. Next up, though, is the big one, the Indy 500, and Palou has never won on an oval, although he has looked pretty sporty during Indy 500 practice.
Well, he wins everywhere apparently right now, so he's the man to beat, right?
As of right now, for sure.
You would think he's the man to beat right now.
Yep. Then we had the rest of the Kansas weekend here. We'll start with the truck series. It was an interesting start to the race. Garcia went below the line before the start finish. Hocevar and Ty made some contact as they went into the corner. Ty had a pit with a flat tire. Sutton would then spin onto pit road a few laps later, and a caution would come out. He would be penalized 2 laps there. Ty would get the free pass, but had a pit again with another tire issue. Mills was speeding. Hocevar was over the wall too soon. And then Ty got another 1-lap penalty for fueling twice as the free pass car under yellow. So what an interesting start to the truck race.
And that was by lap 3. Yeah. All of that happened. And, yeah, it was amazing how Majeski cut another tire. And, you know, boy, it is sure delicate around that area, around them front tires and front bumpers and fenders, man. Boy, you mess them up, man. It sure can mess up a vehicle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it can. Baldwin would then brush the wall and had a pit. A few laps later, he would get into the wall again after another tire issue. Big time this time. Ty would get the free pass again. Byron was a little slow leaving his pit this time.
Yeah, he stalled out pit road there, and it was unfortunate for him. He wasn't running so well with that 07 car at the time.
No.
Truck, not a car.
Yeah, truck.
You're right.
Heim would win the stage. Muniz would have an uncontrolled tire during the pit stop. Dennison would be over the wall too soon, and Sutton would get the free pass there. Get one of his 2 laps back.
Yeah, it's pit stops, and you know what? There's always going to be some kind of issue there. It's always an issue, no matter what, when the pit stops happen.
Dennison would spin with a left rear down. Sutton would get the free pass to put him back on the lead lap. Heim would have a slow stop when the pit gun socket broke off, which is something you never see. So that was interesting. And then Chandler Smith also had equipment interference.
Yeah, did you see that drill where it broke that off, man? They stood there and looked at that just like, that's just plain bad luck, man. That's what that is.
Absolutely. And I misspoke. Sutton would still be one lap down, getting that free pass there under that caution. However, Baird changed lanes too soon, so he would get a penalty on the restart. Hocevar would win the stage, and this is where Sutton would get back on the lead lap with the free pass at the end of the stage there.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was 2 down, and he got him back, bang, bang, right back together. And, we know he's got a quality truck, man, so we'll see. Yeah, he was back on the lead lap.
Then there was a super close call for Riggs and Enfinger. Man, that was almost devastating.
Yeah. So, tough racing right there.
Mozak would slow to pit, and Muniz barely avoids him but spins. Man, was that close. In the middle of Green Flake's pit stops, of course, Hocevar just got to pit road. Byron and a few others had stayed out here, so this caution would benefit the trucks that stayed out, and Hocevar, who just made it to pit road. But man, Muniz almost got into Mozak there.
Yeah, Mozak was kind of far out on the track, and he just did evasive action and lost the rear end of it and spun around. But naturally, it had to be right in the middle of the pit cycle, so that just stirred everything up at that time.
Yeah. Heim would get a penalty for changing lanes too soon then. Curry would spin a little while later. Mozak also spins when Chandler couldn't check up in time, so another caution would come out.
Yeah, so that was the action that was all going. Heim was just, things were going bad for him all the way around. Amazing that he could still get a top 5 out of this whole mess anyway, though.
No doubt. Unfortunately for Tanner Gray, he had a good run going. He would lose power with only 5 laps to go. He would make it back around. And then what an exciting finish, Mark. Riggs was coming fast. He got to the inside of Hocevar for the lead in 1 and 2 on the final lap here. He got into Hocevar. They get into the wall. Hocevar and Riggs would hold on to it. Wow. I thought of right away, this looked similar to Hornaday and Sauter back in the day. I think that was at Kansas as well, or maybe Iowa, one of them. I think it was Kansas if I'm thinking about it correctly, but I could be wrong. But that's the incident that I thought of. But Hocevar would hold on over Riggs, Byron, Heim, Ruggiero, Friesen, Jones, Garcia, Honeycutt, and Enfinger. It was announced after the race that Riggs would be disqualified. It was something to do with the truck bed and how thick the metal was, I believe, or something with the bed of the truck. So Hemrick would actually be credited with 10th place there.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. But when Riggs came up and caught Hocevar, he was still upset from when he got chopped earlier in the race, and it just seemed like he was just gonna, he was just gonna drive him as hard as he could, and they put each other into the wall. And it's amazing that both of them saved themselves. Hey, earlier in the race, you heard Corey Heim talk about Hocevar too, and there's some bad blood that goes on there from a recent incidents back in the day. So Hocevar didn't have nobody's friend out there on that track, but man, he's a wheel man, and he made it count, man. He got the win.
Yeah, that was for the championship. That was 2 years ago. Remember when Hocevar and Heim got into it, and they spotlighted that a little bit. Hocevar would also get the fast lap, 31.081 seconds, 173.74 miles per hour there. But what an incredible finish. But unfortunate for Riggs there. That was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, bummer. He gets second place. He ended up finishing last. He claimed and says, hey, someday, just to prove that I could get up there. He definitely knew Hocevar is a cup driver because apparently they have a tendency to how to block, you know. And he said, you know, just to prove that I can do this, that I someday will be in cup. And so he put that out there, and then that's when he was still claimed to have second place. But then afterwards, we found out he got DQ'd.
Yeah. And I think he meant to hit him, get him a little squirrely, and then get by him. It didn't work out, but at least both of them held on and didn't have too bad of damaged trucks at the end.
But still, you're making contact at high speed like that. I don't know. I think if Riggs would have been just a little bit more patient and tried to stay off of him, he was fast enough to maybe get him. But I don't know. He decided to run him tight like that. They made contact and didn't work out. Didn't work out for him. And amazing, Hocevar saved it. And you know, Byron was right behind that, just licking his chops, just like, oh, hey, you two take each other out. And the 07 would be waiting for him. So, yeah, the 7 and 07 teammates, man. Hard to beat those Spire cars, right? Trucks, right? They're trucks. They're trucks. I keep calling them cars, man, but they're trucks. Big difference.
For the Cup Series race, then early in the race, AJ Allmendinger blows up, and man, was he unhappy about that.
He's had a good season going, man. I mean, he's just barely outside the top 16. He's right there. Still possible that he's going to get a road course victory here coming down the line. So, you know, he can't give up on AJ, but unfortunate to blow the motor up that early in the race.
Yeah, he had some choice words for ECR in the motor department, so maybe some smoothing over has to be done there. But yeah, just unfortunate.
Well, there's frustration there, and it came out, so understandable.
Yeah. Bubba Wallace would get a penalty, equipment interference there coming out of the pits. Byron would cut down a tire and spin on the pit road. No caution would happen there, but unfortunate for Bubba Wallace and William Byron there.
You know, Byron looked like the same thing in the truck race. Now, the truck race, there was a penalty for spinning. You know, Sutton got burned for spinning on purpose. It gave him a 2-lap penalty. Well, it looked like the same exact thing when Byron hit pit road and around she went. I don't know how they can make a ball or strike call like that to say that a guy actually spins out on. I mean, with the Byron one, I mean, it cracked around and whipped around really fast. And it was unfortunate for him, but he was just no good the rest of the day, man. After they got that, he was just battling all the way through and just never got a good finish out of this.
Well, maybe what saved Byron was that there was no caution came out. So if the caution comes out, maybe they take a longer look at that and see if anything was suspicious.
Yeah. So, but boy, that car cracked around fast on him.
It sure did. Larson would win the stage. Hocevar would get equipment interference. Buscher had a slow stop, and Hamlin had a clutch issue come up here.
Yeah, so that's 7th stage win for Larson. That doubles any higher than anybody else has got. So what's that telling you? He's now the point leader. So Larson's well on his way, man. He's got the point lead. He's got, you know, he's the man to beat right now.
Oh yeah. Hamlin, Zane Smith, and Bowman would make some contact. Bowman would brush the wall, and he said that affected his car for the rest of the day. He still would have a good finish, and we'll talk about that later on, but he said they had a car capable of winning, and he was still really fast after that with damage.
Just a little contact, man, but that's just enough to throw the car off.
Cindric would have an uncontrolled tire during the stage, and then Larson would win the stage. Barry would be speeding on pit road, but earlier in the stage, it was announced that Larson has led more than 10,000 laps now in the Cup Series, the 22nd driver to ever do so.
And I think it's third in the guys that are still driving. I think they're Kyle Busch and somebody else is ahead of him. Can't remember, but I remember.
I would think it would be either Hamlin or Logano.
It's probably Hamlin.
Yeah,
So that's over 10,000 laps. So that's a lot of laps, man. That's a lot of laps.
it is a lot. Yes. Um, Man, this one was a tough one to swallow. Keselowski blows a tire and hits the wall while running second, and he was catching the leader there. Under this yellow, also Hamlin stalls in the pits and has to go to the garage with that clutch issue. They just couldn't get that thing fixed.
Keselowski running second, and that's really the first time we've seen great speed out of him. And man, I don't know. You got a feel for the guy. That is just unfortunate that that he can't get the luck and ruin his day. And boy, that clutch thing with Hamlin. The first time these guys were pulling and pushing the car to get it off, and the first time they got it, you know, but then the second time, all of a sudden, the linkage broke in the transmission, and that was all done for him, man. So, boy, unfortunate for him there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Just unfortunate. Bush would, or excuse me, Ty Dillon, Cody Ware, and Suarez would wreck a little while after that thing happened as well.
That was just a fender bender. That just was a racing incident there.
Bush spins after side contact from Gregson. They were 4 wide there, and they kind of bounced off each other. And then Kyle Busch was just in the wrong place at the wrong time again.
But it looked like Chastain just he gave just a little bit of a nudge. He was up against the wall on the outside, and he got into Barry, and then Barry got into Gregson, and Gregson got into Kyle Busch, and I mean, exit stage left. I mean, Kyle Busch. And did you see the driving? I mean, if he would have just locked it up, he would have just buried the wall.
Yes.
But he took that car and he spun it the other direction, and he kept it off the wall. It was fortunate he was more into turn 3, and he he didn't wreck his car. Got stuck in the grass though. That was unfortunate, but at least he still had a car to race.
Yeah. Heim, Haley, and Jones would make contact. Haley and Jones get in the wall, and then they come off the wall a little bit and clip Wallace, and Wallace has a hard hit into the wall as well.
And Wallace was fighting all day to get back on that lead lap, and he just got back on the lead lap, and he got clipped, and there was all kinds of cars that got wiped out on the backstretch there.
Yeah. Larson would dominate the race over Bell, Blaney, Briscoe, Bowman, Barry, Priest, Busher, Logano, and Nemechek. He would also have the fastest lap, 30.288 seconds, or 178.288 miles per hour. He also ties Dale Jarrett for 29th all time, his 32nd win of his career. He's also not far away from Fireball Roberts with 33, Kurt Busch with 34, Truex with 34, and Keselowski with 36. And you're thinking, when he won his 10 races back in 2021, I think that was, he's already gotten to 3 wins faster than that year. So let's say he gets 10 more wins. He is going to catch those drivers and wins already.
He sure is young enough to do it, man.
It's kind of crazy to think about what this season could bring for Kyle Larson here as far as wins.
Yeah, for sure, man. So, like I said, he's the guy to beat. And looking at the rest of the top 10, Christopher Bell has been in a lull lately and hasn't really gotten some really decent finishes. So that's a shot in the arm to get them back up there. Hey, Blaney, gets a 3rd place. Eventually, there's a victory going to come there. You figure down the line pretty soon. Briscoe, that's his best finish of the year. Ties a finish of 4th. We know how that 19 car is. I only see better things coming out of Briscoe. I don't know if we'll see a victory out of that. Maybe in the right circumstance. And then, like you said, the 48 with Bowman, he had a little bit of damage, but still got a top 5 out of that whole mess. Looking at the other ones real quick, sitting there seeing Nemechek in 10th. He's been popping top 10s here and there quietly, and just like they're getting a little bit of baby steps with Legacy that's slowly starting to get a little bit of results there. Ryan Priest with that 7th place finish. There's another one that we're seeing that's constantly sneaking into the top between the 5 and 10. I mean, there's room for improvement there, man. But the 60 and the 17 were back to back with RFK, and and seeing that the 6 had the speed, maybe they're going to start coming around here in the middle of the season.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at kind of the playoff grid, the back end of it, Buscher's up 33. He's 14th. Briscoe is plus 27. Stenhouse is plus 7. That would be 16th. Priest is minus 7. Kyle Busch is minus 14th. Nemechek is minus 24. And Hocevar is minus 28 in 20th. Some of those drivers have been pretty consistent. And if they can just button up a few things that have happened, this playoff situation could become very interesting. I think Bowman has run very well. You look at Texas, had a car capable of winning there. Kansas could have had a shot at winning there without that damage. I think he could have rivaled Larson. We didn't really get to see what Bubba Wallace had to do, but he's led the most laps without getting a win this season here. So he's running well. He's in the top 12 in points. Interesting enough, Chastain, I view him as struggling, but he's 13th and 49 above the cut line. So kind of interesting point situation happening already this season.
And then all you got to do is throw somebody in there that hasn't won yet, man, and that's just going to stir it up even more. So this is going to get good as we keep going, man. Who's going to get in and who's going to get shoved around this way and that way? We're only 1/3 of the way through the season, man, and what do we got? We're 12 in, and we got 14 more races to make it to the playoffs.
Yep. Well, let's make our picks before talking about the TV schedule for this weekend and recapping what we got going on this weekend with the Spring Classic. Once again, just to remind everyone, for the Truck Series at North Wilkesboro, the defending winner is Corey Heim. You get to go first, buddy.
Yeah. So we ended up first and second out of this last one, man. You had Hocevar and I had Byron, and we got a 1-2 finish. So it was not bad there. So unfortunate for me, but anyway, hey man, I'm gonna take one of those Spire cars, and this time Kyle Busch is in this week, and I can't pass Kyle Busch up on a short track. There's just no way. So that's gonna be my pick there, Kyle Busch.
Yeah, you have to take Kyle Busch there for sure. I'm going to take a little bit of a surprising pick here. This is a driver who led some laps at North Wilkesboro last year and has shown a ton of speed here, especially over the last few weeks. I'm going to take Jake Garcia in the ThorSport number 13 truck.
The dude's been fast. He's got a couple poles. Seems to be around early and fades a little bit at the end, but on a short track, there's no reason why he couldn't pull this off. As for ThorSport, they need to get a lot of their bad luck out of the way here, dude. The whole team is just struggling rather badly right now, and they need to get that all straightened up through all of them right there. But Garcia seems to be the best one that's performing.
Yeah. For North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race last year, Ty Gibbs was the winner of the Open. Noah Gregson won the fan vote, and Joey Logano ended up winning the All-Star race. In fact, he dominated. He led all but one lap, so he led 199 laps. I am going to take Josh Berry. He was in the All-Star race last year. I think he raced his way in. I think he's looking very sporty this year, so I'm going to throw Josh Berry at you.
That's my pick you took away from me there, buddy. And then I thought Ryan Priest would be a way to go here on a short track, and then I saw that Logano led to 199 out of 200 laps, and I haven't used him yet. So I thought, this is probably a place where I could put Logano. We see how he runs at short tracks. even like at the short ones at the Coliseum and stuff like that. So why not? So I'll throw Logano at you this week.
Yeah, hard to go against that, man. Well, the TV schedule looks like this. I'm going to talk about the IndyCar stuff, and then we'll talk about everything happening at North Wilkesboro. So, Indy 500 practice and qualifications for the rest of the week. Thursday and Friday practice from 11 to 3 on FS2, and then 3 to 5 on FS1. So that'll be for today and Friday when you're watching this. Saturday then at 7:30 on FS2 will be practice. 10 to 4:50 will be qualifying. Looks like FS1 will carry the coverage from 11 to 1:30. FS2 will cover it from, or excuse me, FS1 will have it from 10 to 12:30. FS2 will have it from 12:30 to 3. Fox will have it from 3 to 5. So that'll be from 10 to 4:50. Again, FS1 will have it from 10 to 12:30, FS2 from 12:30 to 3, and Fox from 3 to 5.
So if interested, just keep your clicker close to you, right, buddy?
Right. Then on Sunday for IndyCar from 12 to 2 on FS2 will be practice. It switches over to Fox. 3:05 will be the top 12 qualifying. 4:15 will be bump day. Always one of the most exciting things. Unfortunately, there's going to be cars that don't make the race. It is part of the storyline every year and one of the most interesting things to watch. And then at 5:25, the Fast Six will happen there. I think they adjust the schedule a little bit, so that is going to affect Kyle Larson a little bit for Sunday because I don't think he'll be able to make a run for the pole, but he'll have a chance at the top 12 and then have to get over to North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, because that's his priority this week.
Correct. For the weather in Indianapolis for today, it looks like in the 80s with 20% chance. Fridays in the 80s with 25% chance. Saturday 80s with 10%. Sunday 70s with 10%. So it looks okay for the week. Maybe a pop-up shower today and Friday. Maybe.
All right, weatherman. Good luck.
North Wilkesboro then. So the Cars Tour, the Pro Late Models today at 11 will be practicing. That'll actually be the Pro Late Models and Late Model Stocks. 5:15 Pro Late Models will be qualifying. 6 o'clock Late Model Stock will be qualifying. And then 7 o'clock on Flow, Pro Late Model race gets going. 75 laps for the Pro Lates.
And that'll be a good one, man. That'll be a good one on that racetrack. So that's probably worth watching.
Friday then at 3:30 on FS2, the Cup practice. 5:10 FS1 will be open qualifying, 3 laps with the pit stop. 6:05 on FS1 will be All-Star qualifying, and then 7:15 on FS1 and Flow, the late model stock race for the Cars Tour will be on there. So remember we announced that, or they announced and we reported on it, that'll be on FS1. So that'll be 7:15 FS1 or Flow. The late model stock portion of the Cars Tour 100 lap race will be getting going there, and that will be another one to tune into.
Hey, that pit road challenge, man. You know what is it? 3 laps plus a pit stop, and there's $100,000 on the line for there, man. So you don't think they're going to be trying, and that also is going to help out to get where they're going to land to start the race. So that's a big deal, man, and that's going to be worth watching on Friday.
Hasn't Bell's team won that like the last 2 years or something like that? They've been pretty successful in this challenge.
Yeah. And you can't, no mistakes, man. You know, everything's got to be just right. So you're gonna see the best of the best fighting for that $100,000, man. That's huge.
That's huge. Yep. Saturday then at 8:35 on FS2 truck practice and qualifying. 12:30 the truck race will get going on FS1, stages of 70, 70, and 110. And then at 410 on FS2, Cup heats will take place, 75 laps each. Sunday, then, the mods get some time here. 9:15 will be practice, 11:45 qualifying, 1 o'clock on flow. The mods race will get going, 150 laps. Then FS1, 4 o'clock will be pre-race. 4:30 will be the open, which is 100 laps. And then 7 o'clock, the all-star race will get going, 250 laps there. The weather looks like this for North Wilkesboro. Friday in the 80s with 30% chance, Saturday in the 80s with 45% chance, and Sunday in the 80s with 20% chance. So weather does look like it could be a concern down in North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, I figured naturally that's probably going to happen. Hey, man, got a question for you. Remember last year North Wilkesboro had patches all over it. Did they do a total repave on that track?
I think they did a repave. Wasn't it before last year on the All-Star race? Because wasn't that another new surface that Logano went on? So wasn't it 2 years ago they did patches, and then last year was the complete repave?
Or did they just do the corners? Wasn't it just did the corners and they did do the rest of it? Or I don't remember, but it's probably all totally repaved. That's why I kind of ask you, like it's been different. Like where it was a couple of years ago, there was patches all over the place, and then they were just going to do the corners, and I was just wondering if they did a repave on that.
I think they did a repave before last year's All-Star race, if I remember correctly.
So let's hope it's cured really well, so we got a 2-lane racetrack.
Yeah, and I thought it raced pretty well last year. So yes, they did a complete repave ahead of last year's All-Star race, like I thought. So it was like that last year already.
And the track's going to get used, man. There's a lot of laps that's going to be run on that track this weekend. So, yep. All right. We'll look forward to a short track race, man, for lots of money.
Looking forward to it. You know, you got a lot of racing down there. IndyCar's got a lot of stuff going on. So it's going to be a fun weekend of catching up on things because guess what? We're going to be out at the Spring Classic out at Wisconsin International Raceway. Again, the schedule looks like this. So Friday, the practice will be happening at 4 o'clock. Spectator gates and concessions open at 5. But remember, you can watch practice before having to exit and come back in. Qualifying 5:45. Opening ceremony 6:15 with racing beginning at 6:30. Friday will feature the WIR quarter mile late models, street stocks, Wisconsin sport trucks, and 4-cylinders. And then Saturday, $6,000 to win, plus the $1,000 to win pro late models there. So we got the 2 divisions. Spectator gates and concessions open at noon, qualifying 12:30, and racing at 2 o'clock down there. So can't wait to see everyone for the opener out at Wisconsin International Raceway for the Spring Classic. I'll be out there Friday announcing. I want to thank Dan and Ginger for giving me that opportunity to announce the Spring Classic. Can't wait to be out there both days for this and celebrate the opening weekend here at WIR. So it'll be good to be out at the racetrack for the first time for me this year. Unfortunately, I had to miss the few events I had planned prior, but Mark, I appreciate your coverage prior to this. So just looking forward to it. Going to be happy to see Dan and Ginger, Matt and the Pannier family, just everyone involved in the racing out there. It's going to be a great weekend and can't wait to do some work with you as well, buddy.
Hey, not only that, man, tomorrow on Thursday is the pit party.
Yes.
You know, and a lot of people are not saying much about it because it sure looks like we've got some weather that's probably going to be coming in. It is worth monitoring as I monitor the weather. It could be worth monitoring with some severe weather, but you know what? There is a chance that most of that could go north. If there's a window between 4 and 6 o'clock, you know, you're going to find me out there. We'll see. We're just going to have to monitor the radar. What do they got? A DJ, and they'll be selling beer down in the pits, and you drive your car right down on the half mile. And so, you know, to monitor the weather, man. And if it looks like nothing's going to develop, then come on out and see the stars and cars with their brand spanking new race cars, man. So looking forward to that. And then, yes, this weekend's coming up, boy, it's going to cool off some. So make sure you wear your woolies and don't get caught like I did out at 141 and wish you had more clothes. So, and it'd be good to see everybody and a lot of people that I haven't seen since last fall. So looking forward to it, man.
Absolutely. Just going to be a great weekend, man. Can't wait for it. I want to thank Sawyer Effertz for joining us on this episode there and having us out at his shop. Mark, I want to thank you as always for joining me on most of these. It's awesome that you and I get to talk some racing and have some fun with this, and appreciate all that you do for this thing, man. Also want to give a thank you again to Tim with the Corp Racing, Ben and Kerry with Valley Gasket for all that they do for us. It's truly amazing as well. And everyone else for your support. I mean, we hear you, we see you. It really just touches our hearts, and we just enjoy doing this. So we appreciate you all.
It's for the fans, man. It's for the fans.
It's for them all, for sure.
Everybody.
Absolutely. So appreciate it, everyone. And hey, we'll talk to you soon, and we'll see you out at Wisconsin International Raceway this weekend for the Spring Classic.
See you at the home track, man. Looking forward to it. See you out there.
See ya.
This has been a production of Lore Sports. Hope you all enjoyed it, and thank you for listening.